So what is differential feed? On the Pfaff Admire Air 5000, differential feed does come standard with this machine. And I would hope that if you are looking at buying a serger, that this is something that you do find as a feature on the serger you buy. So what is it actually? So when you have fabric that is stretchy, and if you've ever sewed on something and it comes out wavy, differential feed is the serger's way of taking something that got stretched out and having it come out flat. The opposite version of differential feed is sometimes when you serge something that is really slippery and those layers actually kind of start to gather up, which if you want them to gather, that's actually what you can make it do. But usually if you are noticing one layer going a little faster on the bottom, you're going to have some gathers. So what we have here, if you actually lift up the presser foot and look underneath, you'll see two sets of feed dogs, two in the front and two in the back. So there's a break in the middle. Normally, they pull in together. So normal setting when you are not needing anything special, your fabric is coming out nice and flat, you want your differential feed knob, which is the small one outside here, this one's the stitch length, you want the small knob to be set at 1.0. That is like a 1-to-1 ratio. So when you have fabric, and I'm going to serge one just to give you an idea, I'm going to fold this fabric actually in the really stretchy direction. So when I actually serge, now that is definitely not what you want. You want it to come out flat. So what's happening is that underneath the presser foot, which that's exactly what it is, a presser foot, it's pushing down on the fabric so it's stretched out while the needle is making the stitches. Hence why you have kind of that fluted look. So what if we could take that front feed dog and kind of speed it up a little bit and help bring the fabric to the needle while the one behind it kind of goes, whoa, not so fast. And between the two, they're almost easing the fabric back together as the needle is stitching. So you want to move the number from 1.0 up to 1.5 or 2. So how do you know this? What you find is that a 1.5, that means this feed dog's going to move a 0.5 faster than the one behind it, which I'm not sure. This is part of the testing. I think I'm going to try it at 1.5. 2 would almost push it so much back in that it'll actually push it in kind of bring it together almost like in an arc. So I'm going to start with this. I'm going to go on the opposite side just to let you see the difference. Oh, actually I like that look. So sometimes I do stop in the middle, adjust as needed. But look at the difference. See how it actually kind of helped push it together. Now, here's the other thing. You might think, oh my gosh, anytime I use stretchy fabrics, I'm going to need to use my differential feed. And how am I going to remember that? Well, I'll tell you the truth. I have bought fabric for classroom situations, for having my students do their differential feed sample and help them understand it hands-on. And I've bought fabric that I thought, oh my goodness, it is as stretchy as can be, and it's going to be awful. And we run it through the serger, and it turns out just perfect. So some fabrics are going to need it, and some won't. You'll never know until you actually stitch it through. And if you find ungrateful results here, that's when you know you need to change it. So I don't even know, 1 out of 10, 1 out of 15, 20 times do I actually need to use differential feed. So on the flip side, I mentioned about fabric kind of being fed too fast. You can actually take that front feed dog and slow it down. That would be less than 1. Look at what the number turns to. It'll go all the way down to the smallest number, which is 0.5. So little movement, bigger movement, pulling in less fabric. So again, if you think about a slippery fabric or a sheer fabric, that's sometimes happening. And by the time you actually need this, tell you the truth, you're not going to remember which way to go. Did she say less or more for these types of fabrics? Here's how you're also going to find out. You can go ahead and turn it and see if it got worse. If it gets worse, well, you went the wrong way. Just go the opposite way. So you got a 50-50 shot, and that's usually what I'll do too. If I'm unsure, I'll just give it a turn and again find out, oh, that's the way to go, or nope, that's not the way to go. If you're working with minky fabrics, sometimes even fleeces, those are fabrics that will sometimes require your differential feed to kind of be turned to help it lay flat. But isn't that so much better than what the first stitched out edge looked like?